Fished.
I'll go for two hands for maximum effect.
All right. We've made it live as we are testing out a new backend for how we're gonna do some content moving forward. Um we've Luckily for us, I've been experimenting as part of launching some other video content in the near future. And as such, I've developed this workaround, which visually I can understand for the folks at home. This looks a little strange and condensed, mainly because the aspect ratio that this is configured to is more optimized for recording in a 9:16 format, which apparently Facebook Live is not particularly aligned to doing. However, for the case of getting this particular part of our product rolling this evening, this was the best option I could put together on the fly. So bear with us in our strange visual format. Yeah.
The most humorous part is that how condensed it is makes it looks like it's in 4 as opposed to in 4K. It's we're making do with what we got, and uh, we proved to be adaptable to this situation, and as we've talked about a bit, there are going to be adjustments to the structure of audio visual content going forward, and which also will involve working with different interfaces. So it's good experiential learning. But nevertheless, it is good that we have an episode to put out tonight, and the afterglow of what was a terrific NCAA D1 hockey weekend for both men and women. Um, the best thing to discuss is first, I suppose, would be a rundown of the defeating of top the defeats of multiple top 20 teams by unranked programs in the course of a couple of days in this past week. Literally, the past two, the past 2 days, it was a phenomenal 48-hour stretch for that part of the sport. Just some fantastic narratives, closely contested games, showdowns, wins that shouldn't have happened on paper, plenty of entertainment. So for that couple in men's hockey, we had Sacred Heart defeating Ohio State 2-1 on the road in overtime. Of course, that saw them upending the 14th ranked squad in the nation with the exploits of Felix Trudeau, who not only faced a 1-0 deficit to begin with, but also scored the overtime winner, being the difference maker in this matchup. So much props to him, as well as his teammates. Of course, it's still something that takes a village, to happen. Much credit as well to netminder Ajit Gundara for his 22 saves in net. Providing stability on the back end. Mikey Adamson, defenseman, also notably had 2 assists in this game. But yeah, Trudeau really just was, an offensive engine at the center spot in this game with 5 shots on goal. In addition to, just getting at it, being aggressive, and then ultimately being the hero of the game, accounting for both of the goals in this monumentous result. Um, let's see. We also notably had Clarkson pulling off another impressive result as they defeated number 8 ranked North Dakota at home by a score of 5-2 on Friday night. Noteworthy performances include center Luka Sukovic having a goal and assist to his name in that matchup, as well as defenseman Tristan Sarsland having 1 goal, 1 assist, and a +2. Let's see what we got. Of course, now this is also noteworthy on the part of goaltender Shane Soderwall. Relatively tame night for him, all told, stopping 18-20. But of course, with this victory, does entail that this is another part of his NCAA one acumen. As early in the year, what can nominally, still be seen as an upset, despite some of the critiques. Shit, hold on. Okay, yeah, my screen just went dark for a second, so I wanted to ensure that my device was not locked. Guess I will be mindful of what can be considered inactivity on this, interface. And just be mindful of that. But of course, it's still noteworthy, nevertheless, despite the criticisms that I have of the Knee Lions, that Soderwall had a victory against Kevin McKenna and Penn State very early into the season. And now, of course, has a victory against a program that is home to 2026's arguable number 2 prospect in the form of Keaton Verhoff and the Fighting Hawks. Just as part of his remarkable ascension, throughout this atypical path he had, having been, a Tier 1 EHL player for 3 seasons, AAA level, then in a 3HL, bench warmer that never actually saw action with the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders, but then, of course, had his a chance to prove himself in the Null with the Anchorage Wolverines, which was, the springboard into an extremely successful 2 years at Curry College, which now have him landing, performing exceptionally well in, a relative adjusted sense with this Clarkson squad, and now having these 2 remarkable victories to his name. It just, he's about as non-standard of a path you can get outside of, being committed in most, no, as we see with the Minnesota High School Sports Hockey League, for example. But most high school tournaments, I think this is about as non-traditional of a path as to NCAA D1 as you can get, without that being a part of the narrative, and just, but obviously, if you prove yourself in D3, there is, the possibility of that. But just considering the totality of things for him to get to this point, it's a different ball game, really. So, really great story there individually for him, as well as, his squad as a cohort. But of course, we also had a closely contested game that has no business being such, as Penn State yet again is, despite their flashy record, is definitely getting by on the skin of their teeth too frequently against opponents that they shouldn't. And, as we assessed in our in a private setting last night, I think really need to prove themselves by beating another good Big Ten squad to really prove their worth. They defeated Stonehill in regulation, to be fair, but by a far too close score of 3-2. in a closely competitive game in which, for the record, I mean, Penn State was 0 for 5 in the power play on that game. And also only outshot Stonehill by 36-32, despite, having chances to be a good possession team, notably by having performed them 38-18 on the draw. So it's like, I'm at a loss for this one. It's just a very disappointing showing from them against a program whose reputation is what it is for a reason, going off of results. So it's like, I think they're in some trouble unless they really sharpen their form overall. But going back to upsets, Colgate defeated the University of Maine by a score of 3-2, which marks their first victory of the year. Let's see. The game-winning goal was scored on the power play by Max Nagel at 15:02 of the second period. Let's see. Reed Dick had 25 saves on 27 shots again in the victory. Jack Brandt and Robbie Newton also got themselves on the score sheet in this matchup. On the other end of the ice, Brandon Holt notably had 2 assists for the Black Bears in the losing effort. Yeah, definitely a night to forget for Alvin Boya, as he stopped only 12 of 15 in this game. Therefore entailing a very inefficient performance on his end, which is very out of character. I will commend Justin Poirier, who, is one of my favorite CHL to NCAA prospects, for having scored a power play marker in that game. But yeah, not how they wanted that one to go, especially given that this was a defeat that happened also on home ice. But another great, result there. Merrimack College additionally defeated number 6 ranked Quinnipiac by a score of 4-1 on Friday night with let's see, 2 goals scored by Nick Pierre, who established himself as one of the biggest names of the night. It just really, across the country in this sport. Max Lundgren notably took also 27 shots in the victory at the last line of defense. Let's see, Kalen Fitzpatrick had an assist and a +2. As the Warriors, they seem to just be punching above their weight. I do think that there were reasonably high expectations from some observers, but certainly not the coaches poll, and really just a cumulative assessment of how their roster looks compared to other teams in their conference. But they're doing some pretty remarkable stuff early on, I have to say.
They're very much a mixed bag team. They definitely had the most interesting weekend out of any team in the NCAA.
Oh, for sure.
It's
Yeah.
foreshadowing of tragic things to come.
Are you ready?
To go.
So, not unranked versus ranked, but nevertheless a noteworthy result. In the form of number 11 ranked UConn defeating number 4 ranked Boston University by a score of 8-4 at the Agganis Arena on ComAv. Really just coming to town, get the win. Their ball team against Boston College not too long ago. Caden Sheehan had 3 assists in this matchup, as did Ethan Whitcomb for the Huskies. Ethan Gardula had 2 goals. Carlin Dezane had 2 goals as well. Assist for Tabor Heaslip also stands out as an impressive individual performance. Tyler Muselik's 30 of 34 in the victory. Really good showing from a number of guys. I will give credit to Owen McLaughlin, who, other than Ryder Ritchie, is the guy I think I had the most eyes on prior to his enrollment from this current recruiting class, or most recent, to be more precise. With his 2 goals, of course, Trethaway is another guy I really like, but I won't get too far down that rabbit hole, as this was a disappointing showing from that talented group. So just put on, guys who are rightfully going to be acclaimed for this performance. Very, very good game from this UConn squad, who I did really, really go to bat for in the preseason. And it's funny. Yeah, I got to give a credit to my boy, Jake Richard as well, who I projected to have a good individual season with his goal and assist in this matchup. Really demonstrating his status as one of the best wingers, as a guy you can just lean on night in and night out. Not in this, even just in the conference, but arguably throughout the entire country. I definitely think that this is, excuse me, by the way, this is, a season in which I think that if this program is really taking a big step up, I think that he's going to be a big reason why, as I've commented on in the past. What else we got? Anything else good from that night that's, arguably in the giant slaying category? Yeah, I think that about does it for Friday. So looking ahead to last night / yesterday, we have, let's see, what do I want to talk about first? It's just such a good slate overall. I did, it's a shame that we weren't able, the timing of it didn't permit us to really address it, but I did really think that the Omaha Mavericks victory over the Mass Minutemen was one of the underrated games of this past weekend, with their 5-2 victory, with Aiden de la Gourgandier having a goal and an assist and a +2 in that matchup. Good showing for the defensemen in that game individually. Brett Highland had a goal and an assist in this matchup, as did Maxime Pellerin. In between the pipes, Simon Lakowski had 28 saves at the last line of defense. So good showing by them. Another, a pretty noteworthy upset in this canon that played over the weekend. It was definitely a feel-good moment for a program that is just sort of that, they're that plucky, inspirational squad with like a really good fan base, I think, as part of a town that has a really good hockey culture, kind of hard done by between, their sort of the Mavericks sort of upstart status, as well as the organizational upheaval that the Lancers have been in for quite some time now, as I repeatedly subject their ownership to as a verbal punching bag. One of my favorites pod, because they've been biggest shit show in the USHL for quite some time. Of course, we also had the Northeastern Huskies defeating the University of Denver, who were 7th ranked, by a score of 1-0. Really, gotta shout out Amin Hajibi for scoring the sole goal of the game on at even strength at 17:43 at the second period. And of course, it goes without saying that those 35 saves by Lawton Zacher were huge in that shutout. It's definitely one of those games that can be classified as a signature performance by a netminder. Really, this was, definitely the the defining game of the slate yesterday, I would say. Let's see. I don't know, but what else really jumps out? I will say I gotta hand it to the University of Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs for having swept their in-state rivals in the form of the Golden Gophers at the main campus in that system. With them having closed it out with a 4-1 victory, emphatic. Also having occurred on the road in that 18 versus 12 matchup. Which I will say UMD is on better form to start the year. So I think this is but this in mind, this is when the coaches polls really, really had to reevaluate the standing of these teams. But hey, Adam Gayan is maybe looking like he's finally developing into someone that maybe, well, he'll certainly, just with the existence of Yegor Zavragan and other guys taking it, will never justify as 1G stat 2023. But, I mean, he's at least proving to be a reliable backbone for his program. Good performance by him with his saves on 29 shots against in that performance. So that was another one that jumped out at me. It's good to see some joy from the Bulldogs, who are really like the most, I'd say the most like wholesome and also most community-driven and engaged program in that system and hockey scene, if you will. So that was pretty cool. I don't know. I guess that's really like the best. I guess I don't really want to discuss like the other matchups in too much detail myself, because the other narratives are like, oh yeah, Notre Dame did what they should. At least in one of those games, the playing to a tie in an official capacity against Robert Morris on the second night was pretty embarrassing for them. Like, not even because the expectations are really notable for the on ice version of the Fighting Irish here. It's just like, you beat them 6-3 the night before, and there's enough of an imbalance to where this shouldn't have been a problem, really. I don't know. I'm thinking about, well, of course, as noted before, or of course in an implicit content, continues to be a thorn of the side of superior teams, and defeated Merrimack by a score of 5-2 to end their weekend. As they had their ups and downs. But yeah, I don't know. Like, what else am I gonna really discuss? Like, UMass is now in the national rankings, but of course, this is on the back of them sweeping Mercyhurst, which is what should happen. Uh, I don't know. I guess that's really like the main thrust of what really went down for NCAA D1 men's this past weekend. But it was damn good. Good, slate things that went down this week, and I'd say definitely like this has been a great start to commencement to the season as a whole. But this is definitely the best 48 hours that we've observed to this point.
Oh yeah. Bear with me as I'm monitoring the stream in the background to make sure we don't crash here as we're having the back end is definitely being challenged a little bit. So I'm going to pivot this into the dev corner before I potentially see this crashing as our frame rate is struggling as I just have not optimized hardware for live streamed encoding.
Yeah, I'm actually so. This is a bit of it's interesting doing this one because this is intended to be the swan song for the traditional formatting of my dev hockey coverage in the Navy. There will not be any changes to how this is covered written wise, although I'm always trying to sharpen my proverbial axe and get better at this. You know what? I'm a proverbial sword because I'm definitely more of a swordsman than a barbarian in my self-perception of my journey down becoming an ideal junior hockey journalist and informal scout. But in any event, this is the last time we are going to do this in this format. I will be I will address how this will look going forward when the time is right. There was some tech testing as the interface will be a little bit different, and a pilot test later this week if all goes well. Uh, but since this is going to be an atypical one, since this is the last one, this will be a bit atypical in its structuring, as I will commence with the USHL. Uh, and as I was just actually watching a bit of the Tri City versus Sioux Falls game, as it was available for free on YouTube on Flow Hockey's channel, so I figured why not. Uh, Especially as there's a bit of a lull NHL games right now as they begin to accommodate their West Coast schedule. Uh, but the Sioux Falls Stampede, despite outshooting Tri-City by a score of by a total of 40-18, fell by a score of 3-1 in this matchup. With their sole goal scored by JJ Montero. No, I remember he had a rocket of a release, but I believe Joseph McGraw got a piece of it, and wound up being credited for the goal. That was a thing of beauty, and I thought maybe there was a chance that they were going to come back, but alas, ultimately Tri-City was able to get the empty net dagger with Brecken Smith, namely doing the honors after having scored what stood as the GWG just 11 seconds into the third period. Carson Pilgrim having scored the goal with Smith, also having had the sole assist on that goal as well at 4:01 of the first period. So great showing by him. Of course, this also entails, um, there was a rough showing for former Latvian junior world junior star or standout, what you want to call it, in the form of Leonard Feldberg's, as he saw 15 of 17 shots against in the loss, while Owen Nelson, of course, made 39 saves in the victory for Tri-City. Let's see. The standings implications for this matchup were that the Sioux Falls Stampede got some separation, which doesn't really mean that much in the points respect from the Fargo Force. The Force do have 3 games in hand and a superior points percentage. But nevertheless, right now they're 2 points ahead of them and at the first place spot for the time being. But yeah, they have that, but it would have been ideal for them to have a bit more cushion. Last that was prevented by the Tri-City victory, as they raised their point total to 13 to give themselves a 4th place spot. A little bit more breathing room from the Sioux City Musketeers, who have 2 games in hand on them. With them being 1 point behind the Des Moines Buccaneers, who I think they're not. I thought I saw them on the schedule. Are they playing right now? No, that's just it's in an ironic twist of fate. The ongoing game in the USHL right now is actually the Oilers, who are up nothing in the Fargo Force. In the 3rd period's approximate midway point, or I should say. Let's see. As I guess they heard me talking shit, and yeah. Of course, yeah, let's see. Their record stands at 2-11, with Fargo being 7-1-0-1. Therefore entailing that there is a bit of an upset going on here that's pretty significant. Let's see. The goals were scored in order by Brady Artisan, with an assist from George Lavelle at 2:32 of the 2nd period. Cole Hiles with an assist by lefty Markanitis at 5:17 of the 2nd frame. Jack Stanius at 7:31 with Cam Karen and Finn de St. Hubert getting the helpers, with that being the most recent goal just a few minutes of action ago. Really tightly contested matchup in the shots on goal category as of at present. Still time for Fargo to tie it up and force OT, or maybe even score 4 goals in the remaining regulation time. But we'll see how that all shakes out at the end of the night. That is not what I was looking for. There we go. Yeah. So that would be an ideal result for Sioux Falls. I mean, if they fell in regulation in a game that they could have won, but if Fargo does the same, then it kind of helps them out. I'd say, despite the fact that Fargo, of course, still has a chance to catch up. Status quo remains in the Eastern Conference. When a quick look at them, with Muskegon remaining in first with 20 points, but of course, the Dubuque Fighting Saints, who have been a very consistent squad this year, as noted in the past, but is right behind them with 18 in hand. And yeah, we'll just move on to the CHL. We're just going to keep this truncated, as I, intend to double tap on all of this at some point in what will be a very inventive, creative thing for us as we sort of change and reimagine what this is going to look like. So, this is kind of just a formality. I didn't want this traditional approach to say to be just you know phased out without any sort of ceremonial component to it. But we'll quickly look at, I guess, just a game apiece of note from each of the CHL's constituent leagues in the recent past. Let's see. Yeah, that was a good one. The Kamloops Blazers and Hat Tigers matchup on Friday night was resolved in overtime, with Kamloops winning by a score of 5-4. I gotcha. Okay, so the first star in that matchup was JP Schubert with his three for Kamloops, while Jordan Teller, who scored 2 goals, was the second star, while Isa Gurram, who scored the OT winner, was the third star. Let's see. Goal performances. Logan Edmondstone had, let's see, 26 saves in the victory. Relatively